You've witnessed Ryan Reynolds construct an apparently flawless Hollywood journey. Massive hits, clever commercials, savvy entrepreneurial moves. He's the model for today's dominant, self-directed movie icon. Yet the reality studios whisper about behind closed doors flips the script entirely. Backing a Ryan Reynolds project has become one of the most hazardous gambles in the industry. The exact strategy that turned him into a billionaire and worldwide trademark now renders him a nightmare for conventional studio executives. We're dissecting the 5 genuine factors that make his name trigger alarm bells in boardrooms. How can someone so triumphant inspire such dread? It begins with a profound transformation in what he actually delivers. Studios once paid for an actor's versatility. Nowadays, signing Ryan Reynolds doesn't mean casting a flexible performer. You're purchasing a fully assembled, pre-packaged commodity. That's the initial, most urgent terror, the Ryan Reynolds persona prison. Let's examine the most obvious studio nightmare first, the persona prison. For generations, a leading man's greatest asset was his ability to morph completely. Spectators bought tickets to witness his next incarnation. Studios banked on that malleability. Recall the golden era contract stars, shaped, coached, and pushed into wildly different styles. The actor supplied the clay, the studio and screenplay built the sculpture. Ryan Reynolds embodies the polar opposite approach. His extraordinary dominance rests on mastering and endlessly replicating one meticulously honed archetype, the quick-witted, fourth-wall-breaking, ironically self-deprecating everyman who constantly mocks the ridiculousness of his own narrative. This identity arrives as a finished, plug-and-play creative module. Here the trap clamps down hard. Approving a Ryan Reynolds vehicle isn't about acquiring material he can vanish into, it's about leasing a fixed atmospheric blueprint. You're committing in advance to one rigid emotional texture that cannot be altered. Every aspect, the director's vision, the ensemble, even the promotional strategy, must be custom-built to serve and protect that singular persona. Everything else becomes secondary to ensuring Ryan Reynolds can safely remain Ryan Reynolds. The anxiety isn't that he'll deliver poor work. The panic is that his work has grown completely foreseeable and non-negotiable. This locks the project into extreme either slash or jeopardy, when audiences crave precisely that brand of ironic, self-referential comedy. Deadpool, Free Guy, it's an enormous win. But when tastes evolve or the timing misfires, the whole production implodes. No mid-course correction exists inside the film. Plan B simply doesn't exist. Compare that rigidity to shapeshifters like Christian Bale or Gary Oldman, where the entire marketing hook is their startling transformations, the unpredictable creative thrill. Studios gamble on them for novelty and surprise. With Reynolds, they're wagering on a predetermined outcome. The director is reduced to a supporting technician. The script functions mainly as a conveyor belt for the brand rather than genuine storytelling. This inflexibility forms the bedrock of their apprehension. From the instant his signature hits the page, studios forfeit their most essential creative authority. They've consented that the star is no longer one component. They've made him the entire formula. Should public appetite for that exact flavor fade, they're stuck holding an overpriced, unsellable relic engineered around one unalterable temperament. He's exchanged dramatic breadth for laser-focused branding, turning himself into a specialized weapon studios can only risk in carefully chosen, make-or-break scenarios. That rigidity flows straight into the second, arguably most severe concern, the exorbitant entrepreneur surcharge. While the persona prison caps artistic ambition, this next fear demolishes the economic foundation. Employing Ryan Reynolds has evolved far beyond ordinary compensation. It's now a multifaceted corporate takeover carrying what industry veterans label the businessman premium, a stacked cost architecture that obliterates conventional approval math. Dissecting the premium reveals where genuine panic sets in. First layer, headline salary, standard A-list territory, merely the cover charge. Second and decisive layer, the back-end ownership stake. Reynolds refuses flat payments. He secures a hefty slice of first-dollar grosses. Every ticket purchase funnels a cut straight to him before the studio recovers its $200 million-plus outlay. He's not staff. He's a preferred equity holder whose cut comes off the top. Then comes Layer 5, institutional overhead. Maximum effort isn't decorative branding, it's a formal vendor. Studios pay multi-million-dollar producer fees directly to his outfit. Frequently, they're locked into funneling large marketing allocations to his team for those trademark, meme-driven, meta ad blitzes. You're not merely compensating talent, you're bankrolling his independent creative and promotional machine. Crucially, classic marketing budgets remain under studio command, except with Reynolds, a significant portion gets surrendered to his operation. The studio essentially pays extra for the honor of letting him advertise the picture exactly as he pleases. Consequence: even before principal photography begins, the profitability threshold rockets skyward. A picture that might break even at $400 million globally could demand $600 million plus to cover his prioritized back-end plus his corporate infrastructure expenses. That forces terrifying calculus. Only ultra-safe, broadest appeal, planet-wide juggernauts stand any chance. Mid-range originals die instantly. They cannot bear that surcharge burden. Every Reynolds title morphs into an obligatory billion-dollar or bust proposition with zero margin for subtlety, missteps, or moderate performance. The dread isn't his price tag alone. It's that his star executive hybrid model turns economic disappointment into the default outcome. Even solid box office returns can leave studios underwater because their priciest collaborator already cashed out first. He shifts from risky asset to existential threat against basic solvency. Executives are forced to confront a harsh reality. Are we producing cinema or underwriting a division of the Ryan Reynolds empire? This financial trap feeds directly into fear number 3, the four-quadrant mirage. Hollywood dreams of the mythical four-quadrant draw, someone universally beloved across demographics, sexes, and territories, ensuring giant worldwide turnout. Reynolds has long been sold precisely as that archetype: likable, good-looking, humorous everyman capable of headlining action, romance, or family fare. Studio analytics and tracking data, however, expose this as a dangerous fantasy, the root of their third major anxiety. His fiercely devoted following is potent yet narrowly focused. The comedy style, millennial/Gen Z coded, heavily referential, drenched in online irony and self-mockery, lands hardest with digital natives who speak that exact language. Beyond that loyal core, traction falls off dramatically. Mature viewers and large swaths of overseas markets frequently perceive the shtick as repetitive, grating, or bewildering. This mismatch creates lethal budgeting misalignment. Studios greenlight and spend like they're securing a true four-quadrant behemoth, yet the delivered product often performs as turbocharged niche content. Strong openings from diehards are virtually guaranteed, but an upper limit on total reach is baked in. Proof: The Atom Project. Streaming metrics declared victory, yet its wider cultural echo was negligible, largely consumed by existing fans, never evolving into genuine multi-generational must-see phenomenon like classic blockbusters. Contrast with authentic four-quadrant royalty like Tom Cruise. Visceral, death-defying spectacle and old-school star charisma require zero cultural subtitles and cross every boundary effortlessly. Betting on genuine universal appeal means casting a broad net. Here the businessman premium compounds brutally. You cannot rationalize massive upfront costs for someone reliably capturing only partial quadrants. Studios burn four-quadrant scale promotional dollars chasing resonance in half the intended markets. It's a structurally wasteful equation for such enormous capital at risk. The myth collapses. Reynolds isn't the successor to Tom Hanks. He's the perfected idol of one digitally fluent cohort. This demographic limitation fuels fear for franchise autonomy, a mortal danger to studio dominance. We reach the most fundamental terror: franchise autonomy. Traditional Hollywood positions the studio as the gravitational center. IP, talent, and pipelines all revolve around it. Star influence flows from proximity to that core power. Ryan Reynolds has broken free entirely. He no longer circles a studio sun. He constructed his own gravitational field with his personal brand at the center. This reversal of hierarchy constitutes an existential challenge to the studio's historic supremacy. His portfolio tells the story. Ex-owner/face of Aviation Gin, sold north of $600 million, majority owner/creative force behind Mint Mobile, $1.35 billion exit. Co-owner and central figure in the Wrexham AFC saga, hundreds of millions in value, plus maximum effort functioning as hybrid content/marketing powerhouse. This transcends typical celebrity side hustles. It's a multi-billion-dollar diversified conglomerate where acting represents merely one vertical. Two paralyzing implications emerge for studios. First, role reversal. Historically, stars required studio machinery for fame and fortune. Today, studios desperately need his machinery, his social reach, built-in audience, marketing mastery. To salvage their nine-figure gamble, relevance flows from him to the project, never the reverse. Leverage tilts decisively and permanently his direction. He's no longer asking, he's supplying scarce attention. Second, allegiance conflict. Whose interests truly come first? The picture's creative integrity, the studio's ledger, or the overarching Ryan Reynolds brand ecosystem? Evidence points overwhelmingly to the last. Projects routinely double as promotional platforms. Holiday fare like Spirited cross-sells aviation gin seasonally. Action streamers feed Mint Mobile creative. Press appearances prioritize reinforcing his clever entrepreneur image over narrative depth. This autonomy crowns him the industry's most empowered yet least manageable talent. Studios no longer engage an artist. They form uneasy alliances with a separate, sovereign corporate power. They supply financing and pipelines. He supplies audience gravity, marketing firepower, and competing strategic goals. That inherent tension poisons the partnership regardless of financial outcome. Finally, the fifth and most devious fear, the silent failure syndrome. The ultimate studio horror disguises itself as victory. Classic bombs screamed, catastrophic openings, venomous reviews, immediate write-offs. Clean devastation. The Reynolds model births something far scarier, the silent failure. Expensive, glossy mediocrity masquerading as accomplishment. Massive streaming consumption figures, zero cultural residue, no awards traction, no lingering memory. Textbook cases, 6 Underground, Red Notice, The Atom Project. Netflix trumpets viewership billions for investor decks, yet probe deeper. Name one unforgettable quote from Red Notice weeks later. Recall the heart of 6 Underground. Silence. Algorithm-friendly, emotionally vacant. Success metrics exist, yet deliver nothing actionable except repeat the formula. This cycle condemns studios to endless high-stakes spending on disposable product. $200 million Red Notice yields forgettable filler. The Dream Factory degrades into premium content assembly line, churning transient material that builds zero lasting intellectual property, the real 21st century currency. Every preceding anxiety feeds this outcome. Persona Prison prevents genuine memorability. Businessman Premium renders modest returns financially ruinous. Four-quadrant Mirage caps passionate fandom. Franchise autonomy ensures the star pivots immediately to his next brand play. The converging equation is stark. Ryan Reynolds no longer functions as mere star, he operates as autonomous media corporation. Studios dread his immovable archetype, punitive cost structure, limited demographic draw, rival empire, and specialty in culturally weightless successes. The partnership demands they shoulder total financial exposure while primarily enriching his overarching brand. He exemplifies the post-studio celebrity blueprint, and his dominance demonstrates the ancient regime is finished. If you're wondering why this pattern repeats relentlessly across Hollywood, the explanation lies in the machinery powering it all.